day and said, we're going to move. He said, I found a wonderful building, 106 Piccadilly. It used to be the old St James's Club. And I said, well, I don't think that'll be good. We should stay in Shaftesbury Avenue or in that vicinity. He said, no. He said, come along, Anne. He said, I'll take you down and I'll show it to you and you'll just love it. So Mr Haycroft walked very fast and I used to run along beside him because I couldn't keep up. He said, we'll go tomorrow and we'll have a look at 106 Piccadilly. So he took me down and there was this most beautiful building. Nobody had looked after it for years. And it had been empty for 18 months. And he introduced me to Stan. Stan had been the sort of caretaker there for quite some time, and he lived in, there were 2 little bedrooms in 106 Piccadilly, and Stan lived in one of them. And he took me down to the basement where the kitchen was. And Stan used to cook his little 2 chops under a huge commercial type kitchen, and stuff. My mind doesn't flow on.
That's okay.
So
you visited 106 and you met Stan.
We met Stan.
Did you like 106?
I wasn't sure about 106 because it was a number 1 listed building, and you're not allowed to do anything to buildings like that. Stop for a minute because Haycroft did practice. Haycroft did because, I mean, that's what all the problems were. We had problems, didn't you, in 106? Anyway, there was eventually Mr Haycroft, another time he introduced me to this rather, he was responsible to the Duke of Devonshire. No, that's not right, but because the 106 Piccadilly was owned by
Sutton Estates,
that's right. And there was a man that used to take us round to have a look at 106, and we used to call him Juicy, because he'd say something and then he'd say, Juicy. He became known as Juicy, but he didn't like the building as we grew to like it, or love it, because he was just responsible for it. And there was this most magnificent building with gentlemen's club, all smoked cigar smoke. All the walls were yellow and mellow browns from the cigarette smoke. We went up to the 2nd floor and there was this lovely looking ceiling, but you couldn't really see it for all the nicotine that these wonderful gentlemen's club. But Mr Haycroft said, no, there's got tremendous potential and we really must do something about it. So a few months later he said, we've got it. We're going to move into 106 Piccadilly. Now, how are we going to do that? So he said, we've got to get painters and all sorts of people coming in to make it habitable. So he found some builders from Devon, and they lived in Devon, and Piccadilly was a long way from Devon. They were nowhere going to go home every night. So they all moved in and camped into 106 Piccadilly. Do you know any of this? There were about 20 of them. And of course the kitchens were there and Stan was there. And they moved in for about 6 or 7 months. But when builders move into a building, they always consider that the building is theirs until they hand over and the contract's finished. Mr Haycroft said, no, the building's mine. I can do what I like with it. And after 3 months, we'll have a party. So we had a party, and I was responsible for organising all the wine and whatever. And the next day, after the party, no building was being done because the builders had finished all the wine that we'd left the night before. So they were all sacked. And nothing was done for about a week or 2 because we didn't have any builders. So eventually the builders were all reinstated again. You didn't know any of this. Stop for a minute.
And how was the party? Who came to the party?
The party was, I think, for anybody who was interested in, the staff, of course, because Haycroft was very keen to make sure that the staff knew what was going on. And any of his friends, because well, he had a lot of friends who were interested in what he was doing, and they would be invited. And, I mean, we probably had people from outside who had nothing to do with us, but they all came in, and so long as they enjoyed our company and the wine, we probably accepted them.